Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining me on 10 Minute Tuesday. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. Today we have Kevin Wee, lead BI analyst with Discover. Kevin, what's going on? Oh, Tableau Visionary, forgot to call it out. Tableau Visionary, Kevin Wee. What's going on, Kevin, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good, man. Thank you so much for hopping on 10 Minute Tuesday, man. So let's go ahead and hop into it. Kevin, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello everybody. My name is Kevin, and if you have any Mandarin speaking audience here, my Mandarin name is Huang Kewen, and yeah, I'm currently the lead BI analyst at Discover Financial Services. I'm also a Tableau Visionary and Tableau Ambassador. Been using the software for more than 5 years, so I'm very excited to talk about it.
Love it, love it. Kevin's elite, man. He's humble right now, but he's super elite and great at the craft. So, Kevin, what really compelled you to get into data to begin with?
Well, I think I started my career with handling data, so I didn't get into data from something entirely different, like being an artist or a historian. I started my career as a molecular biologist in a medicinal lab, and I was working on analyzing the efficacies of drugs and different special proteins. So I did gather a lot of data, and I was analyzing them. Those are just scientific data. But eventually I realized that I liked the data part, but I didn't really enjoy the lab, the cooking part. So eventually, after years, I decided to, go pursue a career in data visualization. And then, yeah, that's how I got into my current job.
Wow, that's awesome. So, I think you're the first biology person that I've had on here. I've had,
Wow.
yeah, I think you are. Now that I think about it, because I've heard a little bit of art. People went to business school, did stuff like sociology, and then somehow transferred. So it's fascinating to hear, your journey into where you're at now, and then really where you're, where you started to where you're at now. So that's really awesome to hear.
This is
Uh,
actually very interesting because my current manager, I mean, my co-manager, he was a chemist, and then his director was a chemist too. So maybe in my company, it was rather common, but yeah, I understand it's case to case.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. So thinking about your journey, right? You talked about biology, and now you're Tableau Visionary data analyst and doing a lot of great stuff. But in between there, you probably had some jobs that you haven't liked before. So what's been your least favorite job to date? And it doesn't even necessarily have to be data related either.
Well, believe it or not, I used to be a waiter in a Thai restaurant, and that was just so physically demanding for the job. A lot of people thought, oh, you're just being a waiter. But the thing is, in a Thai restaurant, you have to carry the soup that are boiling in a clay pot with alcohol lamp under it. And then you have to carry three of them at the same time and run in a restaurant while kids are running around you. So that part just very, very stressful. Yeah, so I guess that's my least favorite job.
Awesome, awesome. So I actually have a follow up question to that, and you're like the first person I've had the chance to ask this. As a waiter, and in your current role as a data, visualization BI analyst, have you seen the customer service translate over into your current role?
I think yes, in a way that you're trying to listen to what they didn't say, but they actually need. Like in business setting, a lot of times when the business partners reach out to you, ask for a business dashboard, sometimes they don't need a dashboard. They need a solution, and analytic solutions that oftentimes you can solve it with some kind of visual analytics tools, but it doesn't have to be a dashboard. So try to listen to what they are telling you. What's the pain point? That part, I think, working in the customer service industry in the past might have contributed to my experience.
That's great. That's great. And I've wanted to ask that. And so I'm glad you're on here because I think I have a similar type of thing where I was on the help desk and I was responsible for listening people call in and problem troubleshooting, but you're really trying to understand the problem or what it is that so you can help them, right? But then you have to do it with a smile on your face. You can't be too annoyed. Like you want to be able to, give your best foot forward. So that's great. Thanks for the confirmation on that. I always wondered if that was like just me or if that's other people have had that journey as well.
Yeah, the other thing that I could think of is that you need to be quick, but you don't want to rush it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
just like the soup example that I just told you. Like you can walk fast, but please don't rush in a restaurant. Like you're gonna hurt someone. Same as data analytics, I guess. You can be quick in your analysis, but you need to be precise. You need to make sure that every step you're not cheating in every steps. You're not trying to skip steps in your analysis. Make sure you validate your data before you send it out. Make sure you ask for business partners sign off before you ship it to production, like things like this.
Yeah, that's great. So I guess a follow up to that, because you're talking about process a little bit. What's one lesson your job has taught you that you think everyone should learn at some point in their life?
Well, recently I have a lot of discussions on what does it mean by being a BI analyst. How's that different than a normal analyst or a data scientist? I think a lot of people didn't realize that BI analysts are not just dashboard developer. We're not just dashboard beautician. There are a lot of things that happen at the back end that we've been doing, but we never showcase it. Things like interviewing business partners, things like trying to help them find out what exactly are the business problems that they've been facing, and then trying to find a data set that oftentimes not there, validate the data set once people give you the SQL logic, and then trying to combine that with the practice of visual analytics to create something that could help them automatically, regularly. That part of the process not often under discussed. While everybody talk about, like what's the color in the dashboard, that's the most flamboyant. So that's something that I wish people be aware of.
Yeah, no, I think that's absolutely fantastic. And I love the point that you said saying automatically, regularly. Like understanding that process, I feel like I'll raise my hand for the BI analyst out there who's watching. Like we don't get enough credit from how hard that stuff can be to automate some of that stuff and make sure the stuff is accurate and we've done enough QA and all that stuff. So that's a really, really great lesson, that I think you honed in on it and articulated in a really great way.
I often compare, just like my experience being in a restaurant, right? It's like when people serve you a lunchbox, you often just look at that lunchbox. You're like, okay, the vegetables cut in the pattern of a flower, so fancy. Oh, the noodles in this color, so fancy. But what you didn't realize that from the market to making sure the whole thing can reach out to your table regularly on time in the same quality, that whole process is taken care by the restaurant owner. So we are like the restaurant owner that trying to take care of every steps from the market to your table.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that. I'm going to take this analogy and use this. I'm going to give you credit too every time I use it. All right. So the audience sometimes for this podcast are people who are trying to break into the career of data analytics. So what is one piece of advice you give someone who's just starting out in their career?
Show it instead of telling me what you know. Like show it, don't tell it. In the field of visual analytics or data analysis, oftentimes you can talk about, I have a lot of certifications. I've learned certain statistics. But what does it actually mean? Can you show me what you know? Can you, after showing me, and then use that thing to tell me what you're capable of? I have Tableau public profile, so I use it to demonstrate my skill and my growth in data visualization. And now I use it to demonstrate what that tool can do that's out of the box. A lot of now I increasingly getting a lot of people on LinkedIn asking me, oh, can you help me review my visualization? I just got into the field. Do you have any pointers for me? I often just tell them that you need to show me your dashboard, show me your work. And then from that, we can talk about how you may improve, what kind of learning resources that I could point you to solve the problem that I see that you have. So, yeah.
I love that. I love that. Having a portfolio or something that in hand to show like, yeah, sure, I passed this test, but what can you really do with what you gain is such a key insight, man. That's a great piece of advice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure whether this topic popped up in your podcast episodes, but a lot of people ask whether we will be replaced by the AI, right? And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I think the charting, the graphing part will be, but the part in explaining the rationale behind it will be more resilient to being replaced by an AI. So I think honing that skill is going to help.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, and we could talk about it. Cool. I love talking about AI, so we can dive into that a little bit more. But I definitely think that AI will help. You know, from speed wise, get you your Tableau calcs or your DAX calcs or your Python scripting, right? It help you that. I do think it's going to hinder people from understanding the fundamentals a lot because all they're going to do is potentially, right, is I'm going to prompt engineer it, but I really don't understand the foundation of what it's doing. I'm getting the result I want, but I don't know how I got there. And so I think it can help in certain parts, but I do think there will be a hindrance and the workforce will feel that at some point.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see how that change our job landscape
Yeah.
in the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. All right, Kevin, tell me about the most influential people in your life and how they made an impact on you.
There's so many people who's been so influential. I'm just gonna point two out of my mind: Eva Murray and Charlie Hutchison's. I started networking with the data fam community because of the makeover challenge, and in like late 2020, they were the people that regularly do the YouTube live streams reviewing, and I think learning from them directly and how they criticize people's work while adding to their visualization, I thought that had helped me a lot in growing my skills. So kudos to them.
Okay. Eva's great. She does a lot of great stuff. That 2020 Makeover Monday, especially during COVID and all that. Like, actually, okay. Another follow up question. So now I'm thinking about it. So as we talked about our skill set and journey, putting the work in and everything, since COVID, right? You've been in Tableau. You said like 4 or 5 years. Do you think the work you put in, kind of during that down period of having a little bit more time, has helped you get to where you're at now?
Yes, absolutely. Like I I learned Tableau like in a course in when I was at Purdue, but I didn't really actually learn how data visual analytics works like until I actually do that regularly every Monday. I mean every Sunday night for Makeover Monday, and I think like putting down time to develop that actually eventually actually contributed to my final PhD dissertations, where I have 100 page out of 300 pages of my dissertations talking about how I use Tableau to do analysis.
Wow, that's awesome. That's a sound clip within itself that I'm going to snip and just post online, which is great. All right, Kevin, where can listeners find you at online?
You can find me on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Figma. If you have a Figma community profile, you can find me there too. And last but not least, Tableau Public. Type in my name on Tableau Public. You will find me. I have a post that look like this. Yeah. So
Great, great. Awesome, Kevin. Thank you so much for taking time out today. This was great.
thank you for having me. This is awesome.
Yeah, awesome. And like I said in the beginning, if you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. And we'll talk to y'all next week. Y'all have a great day.